Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sharmin and today in this video we will be learning about SAAS and how to use it in your projects. SAAS basically stands for Syntactically Awesome Style Sheets, and it is the most mature, stable and powerful professional grade CSS extension in the world as compared to any other extensions if you see. So I would prefer you learn Sass. It'll really make your life very easy when it comes to writing CSS. So um, this is the website that we'll be referring to. This is the Sass official website. I will put its link in the description box below. You can access it from there. And let's click on the Learn Sass tab. And let's start. So these are the topics that we will be looking at today. All right. So as I said, Sass is a CSS preprocessor. So uh, Sass has some features that do not exist in our normal CSS, like nesting, mixins, etc. We'll go through all of them one by one. And there's one most important thing to remember, that is Sass cannot be understood directly by the browser. So you need to compile your Sass or SCSS before you actually um, use it, or browsers can understand it into like a proper CSS file. So I will show you that as well first, that how you can compile Sass using an extension in VS Code. So here there are different ways to compile Sass, but we'll be using the extension as I just mentioned. And before we move forward, there's a fun fact about Sass which everybody should know, and people often confuse between Sass and .scss. They think those two are different things, but no, they are same. So they are just extensions. So we have .scss and we have .sass. Okay, so these are two different extensions we can use with our file name while writing Sass. So what is the main difference between these two? It is just the syntax difference. So if you use a .scss extension, you can just write it like your normal CSS using these curly brackets. And if you are using Sass, like the extension as .sass, then you see there are no curly braces. Instead, indentation is used while writing in a file which has the extension of .sass. So I prefer using this way. And if you see, both of their outputs are the same, the SCSS and Sass, there is no difference. So I prefer writing it this way. Some people prefer writing it this way. So it's up to you, however you want to write it. All right. So this is the first topic that we will start with. Before that, let's go to our VS Code and let's install our extension that I just mentioned about to compile Sass. So click on the extensions button and search for live SCSS. Do not um, install a deprecated extension. Make sure it's this one. So you click here, and then for me it's already installed. You can just click on the install button that you will see here and it will get installed. And you'll be able to see the watch Sass button down here once it is installed and you make a .scss file. So let's see what I have in my index.html. I don't have any fancy code here. It's just some boilerplate, and I have a few other elements like a header and the section. So this is my HTML file and this is my style.scss file. So this is where we will be writing all of our SCSS. Alright, so the first topic that we saw was variables. Now, if you have already done some programming or you have worked with JavaScript, you might already be aware of what are variables and how they work. But if you're not, then don't worry, I will explain it to you. So let's say you want to make a variable. So you use the $sign and then you write the name of your variable. So let's say we use the name theme color and we just give it a color of red. Okay, so not necessary that you can only assign colors. You can assign whatever you want. If you have another um, variable called as font size, or to make it more precise, if we say body font size, and we can give it a value of 18 pixels. So this is how you use, you create variables. And now how do you use them? So let's say here we have two different buttons. Okay, one is inside header and the other one is inside my section. So let's say if I say header button, it wants a background color of red, and let's say my section button also I want to give it a background color of red. Then you have to go and manually write it again and again. And now let's see the output first. So let's copy the path and paste it up here. And do you see there is no change right now? And the reason for that is we still haven't linked our SCSS file. So one important thing here to keep in mind as well is, as I said, browsers don't understand SCSS. So please do not by mistakenly go and link your SCSS file to your HTML. It won't work. So we will have to first compile this code to convert it into CSS, and then we can add that CSS file into our HTML. So to compile this, we just click on watch Sass, and here you go. Do you see it created two different files here? So this is our style.css file, which you can just go and link here. So we call it /styles and style.css. Okay, and now if we go and refresh, can you see the red color has been applied to both the buttons? Now, next, if you go and decide that you want to change the button colors to some different color, let's say you want to change it to green color. So now what you will have to do is you'll have to go and change the color of every button, right, on your entire page. Right now, I'm just showing you a simple uh, two buttons, so it is very easy. But when you have a real website and you have multiple CSS written, it will be so difficult for you to go and change it everywhere, correct? So instead of using a color, we can just use the variable that we have defined at the top. So we can just say theme color, and there you go. Do you see the theme color red is applied? And similarly, if we use the same color here, the same variable here, and you see both of them are red. So now one day if you just decide to change the color, you just change it over here, and there you go, you changed it to green. And here if you go and refresh, okay, we didn't save it. If you go and refresh, you see it changed it everywhere to green. So this is how variables are used. It's not just that you can use it for colors. There are multiple things that you can use variables for. So this was the first topic that we just learned, that is variables. So it is this easy to use variables. So do you see you have the primary color, the font stack, and you can use it for a lot of things. Okay, so this was the first topic. Now let's move on to nesting. So this is our second topic in SCSS. So what is nesting basically? Right now, do you see if we have to give some style to our header, let's say we give it a background color of light blue, and then we are giving our header button this color. So do you see we are repeating this here, it is header, and then here we have header button. So instead of doing it this way, you can just remove this from here, and you can just add it inside of the header here. Do you see I've just nested it inside the header, and if you save it, it will still work. So if we refresh, do you see it still works, right? And it also added some background color to our header as we gave it over here. But if you go and see your style.css, do you see how this has compiled it properly, right? So this is how your nesting works. It's not just about one level. You can keep on nesting. So let's say we have our nav, we have our UL, so we can just say nav, we can say UL, we can say LI, we can say anchor tag. So you can nest it as much as you want. There is no problem in that. And we can just give it, let's say, just give it the theme color here. So this is how your nesting works. So here, if you go and refresh, do you see this color change to green, right? So now here also you can give some CSS to your UL. So let's say list style none, and when you refresh, it works, right? So this is how your nesting works. Now there are other things as well. That is, you have pseudo elements like before and after. You also have different states, that is hover states. Now how do you give that? So if you think you can just do it this way, then sorry. So let's say if you do it this way, and we say content, and we say hello, and now if you refresh, you see it won't work. Reason is, whenever you are using these pseudo elements or the hover state or the other different states that we have, you have to use the and sign here. So if you use the and if you refresh, you see the hello before home here. So this is how you use your pseudo elements and different states. So let's say we want to give it a hover. So we say background color. Let's give it a background color of pink. When you refresh and when you hover, do you see the background changes to pink, right? So this is how nesting works. So now let's move on to the next topic. Um, that is our partials. So you can create partial files that contains little snippets of CSS. Okay, so what we can do is we can create different files with the underscore extension, and we can store different codes into those files. So let's say we create a file which is named as variables.scss. Okay, so make sure you give this underscore sign before your partials, okay, the partial file, and we just put these variables into this file here. And what you have to do is you will have to just import that particular file, that is variables. And now if you refresh, you see the CSS is still getting applied. And if you remove the import and if you refresh, okay, so okay, so as this is a partial, it is already recognizing it and importing it into the main file. So that is how your partials work, even if you don't import them. So as you can read here, the underscore lets Sass know that the file is only a partial file and that it should not be generated into a CSS file. So Sass partials are used with the use rule. Okay, so maybe we can use it with the use rule, or we can just import them as we did here. So it's a good practice to import them always. So you import them here, and there you go, right? You still have all the CSS applied. Okay, so these are your partials. Now we can have different modules as well. So you don't necessarily need to write all your Sass in one particular file. You can have different files with those underscores, or as mentioned here, and you can just include it as use in here and it will just work fine. So let's say base.scss, and here if you write any CSS, let's say we give some body CSS here, that is background color to Alice blue, and we save it and we go here and refresh the page. Okay, I think the use base.scss, Okay, so let's use the info. Let's try it. Okay, so it's better we use import. So can you see the background color has changed to Alice blue? So this is how your partials and modules work. So you can also have different, like you can have CSS in different pages, like you can have page wise CSS, example underscore contact.scss, and you can write only contact page CSS over there and just import it in your main file. So that way your code will be very clean and manageable, and it will be very easy for you to use. Okay. So this was your partials and modules. Now let's move on to mixin. So this one is an interesting one. This is more like a function in the JavaScript, like when you have functions, you have parameters which you can enter, etc. So we say mixin, and then you enter the name of the mixin. So let's say we enter grid here, and we use these parentheses as mentioned here, mixin, and we have these. I'll show you how these parameters work, but for now, let's keep this empty when you don't have anything, and you can add display grid, and we can say grid template columns, repeat three times, 1 FR. Okay, so this will be a 3-column grid layout. So for example, here, if we have this section and we have different columns here, 2, 3, and let this one be the, okay, so let this one be the first column. So we have this section here, okay. So if we have a section and we want to give it this style, and we have multiple sections which have the same layout, so we'll have to go again and again and give the same CSS. So instead of doing this, what you can do is you can just use include, and you can say grid. And now if we go here and refresh, you see we have a different 3-column layout over here. I've just zoomed it a little bit so it will be clear for you to see. So this is how you use your mixins. Okay. So let's say we have another section down here, and let's give it a class of section 2. Okay, and let's have some content in here. Okay. Now let's say we want to give the same grid property to our section 2 as well. So if we go here and refresh, so you see we have 2 different sections. But now what I want to do is I want to give them different background colors. So I just go here and give them a background color of, let's say, aquamarine. And if I go and refresh, you see both of them have the same color, but I don't want them to use the same color. I want them to have different colors. So here you can use a variable which says background. Okay, and you save it and you just call the same variable down here. Okay, now as you see here, when it is included, you can just pass these values as they are here. So here there's a theme, and here also there is the same variable and a value for it is passed. Okay, so similarly here what we can do is we can pass a value here when we include the grid. We just use the same parameters, and here we can just say maybe red. Okay, and you go and you refresh. Okay, this doesn't work, so I think we will have to actually define the property here for which we are. Okay, and here you go. Okay, this should work. So it says theme dark gray, and you have the background for, okay, so background is red, and okay, so it should be working. Okay, so now sometimes things like these can happen with you. So here you see, um, you will be able to see what the error is. So let's see what it says. It says that missing argument background. So, okay, so I think it is because of the problem over here. So I think it should work now. And this is red. Okay, so this one has it missing. So it is not changing, it is not compiling the SCSS itself. So always make sure if you have any errors that you come through, you can just open this here and just see what the error is. Okay, so even if there is a small error, it won't compile your latest SCSS to CSS, and that can cause issues. Like it just happened with me, right? So always open that and debug yourself why it is happening. Okay, so this is how you use your mixins. So I think we are already done. Like we are almost done, right? So now we have inheritance. So this is the next topic that we'll be using. Sorry, learning about. So this is an interesting one. So let's say you have all this CSS that you have applied for header, and now there is a section 2 as we have it, section 2, and you want to just use all the CSS that you have for header for section 2. Let's just comment those. And here, so you can just say extend header. Okay, and you save it, and let's refresh our page. There you go. Do you see header has a the background color is same for this, and let's say if you give like an anchor tag inside here and you say test and you refresh. Okay, so I think it's inside a ULLI, so you need to put it inside a ULLI, and you also need to put it inside the nav because that's how we have given it some CSS. So only then it will reflect up here. So let's see if it does now. Okay, great. So do you see it reflects the same CSS as we have, right? So that is how you use the extend feature of SCSS. It is very simple and very useful if you have multiple sections in your website which use the same CSS, and you can just use extend and it will apply the CSS. You can always see the compiled version of it. So you see how it has nicely compiled all the CSS. So that is how you use extend, and that was inheritance basically. It is used with the word extend, and you have the different operators here. So it's basically simple to use the operators. So you can say 100% minus 30% width. So if you just refresh, you see the width of this particular section just got smaller, right? So these were the few SCSS topics, or you can say SAAS topics, and it is this simple. Uh, it's nothing difficult. It's very easy, as you just saw. You don't have much to worry about. So it's just a little bit of practice, and you'll be good to go with the with using SAAS. And it is very easy and simple. So good luck with learning SAAS. And if you have any questions in your mind, please don't hesitate to post them in the comment box below. And I'll be happy to help you guys. And I also have my Instagram link below. If you have any questions, you can just DM me directly on Instagram, and I'll be happy to help. And please, if you like this video, or if you got to learn even one new thing from this video, please do not forget to press that like button and also subscribe to my channel. Um, I'll be coming up with videos related to HTML, CSS, and now also AI, vibe coding, etc. So That's all for my video today. Thank you so much, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.